Maybe this consecrated stone circle has a reset button. You need to turn it off and turn it back on again. So,
Have you tried calling stone support?
I got another question from r/RPG that is about stones, but this is very different than being turned to stone.
Well, good.
This time,
better be rock solid.
It is going to be rock solid. There's going to be a lot of rocks involved in this, because the title of this question is Need Some Ideas for Consecrating a Stone Circle. Early in my campaign, yes. Did you?
I was just going to say cast the spell consecration, call it a day.
Okay, but there is more to this that you might want to know. Okay. Early in my campaign, I established that the BBEG, Big Bad Evil Guy, for those who are not in the know, got some of his power by turning stone circles dedicated to a god to himself. What was once a place of worship and healing magic turned to a human sacrifice altar, where the power of the sacrificed are transmitted to the BBEG. Now the party has means to withstand the dark magic, but I still don't know what a nice session I could do that's more than do ritual, defend against attack waves of evil minions. Any ideas?
Sacrifice.
You sacrifice members of the party, maybe? Or sacrifice...
sacrifices minions, or sacrifice things that mean something to you. I'm just being silly, though.
Well, you know, the thing about it is that, do you remember Fable? In Fable, they had a thing where you could sacrifice to, like, the evil altar, but I think you could, like, if you wanted to, you could bring bandits and stuff to the altar if you wanted to. So you still got points for it.
I mean, you have a thing like that in Skyrim, too, for one of the Daedric gods.
Oh, yeah.
Daedric princes, I guess. Where you have to sacrifice someone who, you've gained the trust of to, the altar. The blessing of the Daedric prince.
I mean, there's probably a few different things. One of the top comments was actually talking about centering it around either birth or life, so that you could, find plants, maybe, and then you find a certain plant that you have to put into it in order to, try to reconsecrate the altar, because, bring it back from blood magic. My initial thought was just, could you stop the human sacrifices first?
Yeah, I mean, who said they were human?
I mean, it specifically said turn to a human sacrifice altar.
So we just you start sacrificing cockroaches. Guy turns into a cockroach.
This could work.
He gets power from the sacrifices, right? We start sacrificing things that have no power. Or does it have to be innocence gives him? If you sacrifice babies, does that give him more power because there's all that innocence that's in there or something?
Does not mention, but let's say sure.
Or we could just douse the entire place in holy water.
Ooh, yeah, holy water. That's always a good idea.
You can create water and then purify it.
Question, what if we put, food in the middle of the altar, but it's junk food? So you just put, bunch of potato chips.
Maybe he'll just get obese.
Exactly, maybe he'll become a couch potato, because he ate so many potato chips. And then what is he gonna do?
I guess it really depends on, how they get their power, and, maybe you could figure out, what god the stone circle was dedicated to before, for instance, and, go back into a ritual to, re-attune it to that god kind of deal. It's oh yeah, these are things that god, would have required here, so we're gonna redo those here and overpower the whatever this guy did to it. Or, you could just destroy the fucking circle.
You could. I think the thing is that the end question was is there something more than just do the ritual and then defend against waves of evil minions? And it's well, there's nothing against doing the ritual and defending against waves of evil minions, but I think that it would be fun if you had the party go on a little bit of a little knowledge quest, maybe use some of their insight and wisdom abilities in order to find out that, there actually is a specific way to purify the circle that isn't just doing a ritual, but something specific. And if it's different stone circles dedicated to different gods, you could do some different thing, each one of them becomes a little puzzle. About how
you could do that.
Yeah, how you reconsecrate each single one of them, because it doesn't really take if you don't. But
yeah, maybe you have to find an ancient temple to the god, and it describes a ritual in which you can consecrate a site for ritual. I guess you wouldn't find a ritual to consecrate to do rituals. You would find a ritual to like consecrate it to be a holy site, essentially.
Yeah. Or if you can't find that, you could maybe go to a temple and start asking like the priests there. Or
I think it would be better if like priests didn't know, because then it'd just be like, oh yeah, bring the priest. I feel like it'd be more interesting to be like, yeah, we found this text and this obscure passage about this thing that no one's done for hundreds of years, so we don't have any living people to ask. But this describes it in detail, as long as you can translate it right.
Sure.
And understand the symbology within, because maybe it says a dove, but the dove just represents like peace. Or maybe it says peace, but you don't know how to put peace in the ritual circles, so you have to find a dove because it represents peace. Things like that. So it's kind of like decipher the meaning kind of deal, and maybe there aren't even solid answers in that. The DM can just go, all right, the players figured this out. They said a dove represents peace, so I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Deal. Like, yeah, that tracks. Give me the reasoning behind it.
There's a specific spell, like an old spell, that you have to cast at that circle that it mitigates it. Or maybe this consecrated stone circle has a reset button. You need to turn it off and turn it back on again. So,
have you tried calling stone support?
Yeah, have you ever considered calling stone support? If you can actually just turn off the power altogether, does it reset when you turn it back on?
What if you just turn this? You have to reset it during an eclipse when the sun's out, because then the power's off.
Oh, right. So, well, then you're gonna have to wait a while.
Maybe.
It depends if it's a sun god, right?
I don't know.
Well,
you just do it at night when the sun's turned off.
Well, the evil guy, though, probably wouldn't be a sun-based entity, right? And,
I don't know. Could be. Suns burn things.
They're turning the circles to himself. So, I guess that's also a question, is that if he's turning the stone circles around to himself, do they keep the properties of the previous god in how they function? Does he... I mean, I guess not if they can be turned to human sacrifice altars from being a place of healing magic. But, like, do they have to still work on the same principles as they did before?
Lots of questions to ask there. Lots of answers to find out.
Gotta
trial and error this.
I still think that what the party needs to do is they need to find a very large paperclip, and they need to unfold the paperclip a bit, and they need to stick it right into the middle of the stone circle, which will power it off, do a hard reset, then pull it back out, and wait for it to reboot.
Perfect. You gotta find the stone that was in the sword that was in the stone and use it to poke the reset button.
Have to
just medieval tech support.
Exactly. You just need to put the sword back in the stone, and then it resets itself.
Perfect.
It finds a new Arthurian lore.
Yeah, there you go. Rewrite the time waste.
Perfect.
Turning it off and on again could be great, or maybe you find a way to nullify like an anti-magic field around it.
Does it require any kind of verbal commands? Because if so, and I could cast something like silence on it,
Oh, sure.
Just to neutralize.
No sound here.
I don't know if that would be a long-term thing, but it might at least keep the waves of evil minions from popping in, and then you could try doing something. I guess the end of this is mostly... Maybe the players can come up with creative ideas, and you can just go with them on it. Like, if you present them with an idea of, like, oh yeah, the big bad evil guy, turning stone circles into human sacrifice altars, what are you gonna do? You never know. They might have some really interesting ideas about how they, approach that situation in the first place. So,
light the whole place on fire.
Oh yeah, that is pretty much what they would do, isn't it?
Cray wants to put the stones in her pocket.
Yep, you can do that, and then you become your own human sacrifice altar.
Yeah. Or you can just make cudgels, strap the stones to a stick, and then beat people to death with them.
Oh, that also works. No, you can stick them in your pocket. You can become a mobile altar sacrifice station. just going around performing human sacrifices, door to door. Well, you know what? If you have an interesting way that you would like to re-consecrate a stone circle from being a sacrifice altar into being a place of healing magic, because you're a loser, you feel free to tell us in the comments down below. This was actually only posted about 3 months ago, so it's the newest of the 3 that I have, so maybe you'll get some use out of it.